The purpose of this Corning training video is to demonstrate the installation of the Corning FuseLite LC Splice-on connector for 900 micron tight buffered fiber. Please remember to follow all proper safety procedures when working with fiber optic cables. The tools needed for this procedure are the 2-hole stripper, 90% or better isopropyl alcohol, as well as your lint-free cleaning wipes. The next piece of equipment you'll need is the fusion splicer. This is Corning's OptiSplice 1 fusion splicer. Ensure that you have acquired the proper handlers for the procedures. The splicer also comes with the FBC 006H cleaver. And now we'll cover the features of the new FuseLite LC connector. The connector comes packaged in a blister pack container like this. I've already removed the outer plastic coating and have laid out the piece parts for you. So first we have what's called the ferrule sub-assembly, which has the factory cleave fiber. And notice the long piece here, that's called the dust cap antenna. That will be removed later in the process. Then we have the heat shrink sleeve with the integrated spring. Next we have the outer housing, which will be installed in the final process. And then we have what's called the boot rear housing assembly. And notice the clear tube on the back of the assembly, which will assist in reducing bend radius issues during installation. Now I'll demonstrate the proper installation of the LC connector on the 900 micron tight buffered fiber. As you can see, I've already made my 40 millimeter mark. And so now what I'm going to do is insert the fiber in the rear of the rear housing boot assembly. Slide it out of the way, and next insert the fiber through the heat shrink sleeve and slide it out of the way. And the next step will be to remove the 900 tight buffer jacket using the larger of the 2 holes on the 2-hole stripper. You can either remove it all at once or you can do increments. And now using the smaller hole, I'll remove the 250 micron protective coating. And now I'm down to the bare 125 micron glass. And using a lint-free wipe and alcohol, clean the fiber. Next, we're going to load the fiber in the 900 micron fiber handler. And you want to ensure that you have approximately 2 millimeters of the jacket protruding from the end of the handler. Now insert the handler into the cleaver. Make sure that it's fully seated and cleave the fiber. Make sure that you take care of your fiber splinters appropriately. And now load the handler into the machine. Key point is to ensure that you do not bump the tip of the fiber once you've cleaved it. So make sure you make a nice fluid motion as you install it in the machine. First thing I want to point out on the ferrule sub-assembly is the little black dot on the very top. This will ensure proper positioning in the handler. Position the sub-assembly in the handler. Make sure that it is positioned all the way up flush to the end and that the black dot is facing upward. Close the handler, then place it in the machine. Gently position it so that you do not bump or damage the fiber tip. Now you have your filled fiber installed on this side and your ferrule sub-assembly installed on this side. At this point, you'll close the electrode flap lid and we'll ensure that we have the proper program set up for the fiber type. To start, we want to make sure that we have the proper program. So we go under the Programs option, right arrow key, toggle down to Multi-Mode Fiber, right arrow key, and ensure that you toggle down to the FL, which is FuseLite, and then MM for multi-mode. Press the right arrow key, and we're in the proper program. Push Home, then your green Start, and green start again to start the fusion process. All right, so now we will pull the electrode flap back. We unclamp the filled fiber, and then the same for the barrel assembly. Be real careful not to bend or twist the fiber. You want to keep it taut to ensure it doesn't break. So now we're going to bring the heat shrink sleeve around and let it come all the way down till it sits flush on the rear of the subassembly. So open your heat shrink oven. Make sure that the heat shrink sleeve is centered over the splice point and close the oven. At the audible alert, raise your heat shrink oven doors, and because the heat shrink sleeve is still hot, you do not want to overstress it and jeopardize breaking the fiber. So it will need to cool off for just a few moments before you put the rear assembly housing on. The final step of assembly is to slide the rear boot housing up to the splice point over the spring, and now take the outer housing, or the front portion of the connector, slide it into place, and very gently push it together. Ensure that the triggers are in alignment. And the last step is to remove the antenna from the dust cap. And now this will become your dust cap, and you have a completed FuseLite LC connector. That's it. If you have any questions or recommendations for videos, call us or send us an email at cablesystems@corning.com. Remember, Corning Cable Systems recommends getting properly trained in fiber optic installation. We offer a series of training classes. Thank you.